If I can have your attention here in the media center, we'll go ahead and get started with today's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series media availability, and we'll start the day with Ty Dillon, driver of the number 13 GEICO Chevrolet for Germain Racing. And Ty, I owe you an apology because during the closing laps at Dover last week, I said, regardless of where this guy finishes, I'm going to have him into the media center. You had an incredible run going there in that 13 car. Did not end the way you quite wanted it, but could you please just take a few moments to really walk through that quality run you had in the 13 last week?
Yeah, we I guess to start the weekend, we had a pretty good GEICO Chevy unloading. We kind of kept working on it and chipping away at it, getting to where we thought, just mainly focusing on where I could drive the car hard through the race. And fired off the race. We didn't qualify all that well. Qualifying's probably been our toughest challenge all year, just making sure we get good track position. We've started anywhere from 20th to 28th every week. It's just not been our strong suit, but we've raced really well. So we qualified 21st, and we take off in the race, and the car's good. And but Booty, he's so smart. He's always thinking about strategy, always thinking about what we can do to be in the best position at the end of the race. So the first segment and a half, I'd say, of the race, we were doing things where we would one stop, come down and take tires. Next stop, we would put scuffs on, that 20, 30 lap old scuffs, and just ride. He'd tell me, ride. He said, you're fast enough, just ride here in the back, and we're going to have 4 sets at the end of this race. So I was doing that, and I knew our car was good. It was kind of frustrating to just bide your time, run around 18th to 21st, and then putting old tires on when people had new tires and just having to let them go and just be really patient. And around the second segment, I said, all right, I'm done messing around. I think our car's good enough. We can get up front and run well in this race. And sure enough, we take off. We go into pretty much go for it mode. We're going to put stickers on every pit stop, and everybody else has got 1 or 2 sets left. We had 4 sets left. So we started going for it. And when I knew I could go, we drove up into the top 10. I think we were running 9th or so, right behind Jimmy. Caution comes out. We're sitting 2nd. We come down pit road, and my pit crew brings us out first. That was pretty cool. That was a really big win for them to beat a team that's won 7 championships with a driver who's the best there is here in NASCAR. To come out pit road first for a team like ours at Germain Racing was huge. So that was just big enough, and I knew if I could get out front and just be steady and be a machine, I could lead a bunch of laps, and you never know what can happen at the end of these races. I just watched my brother win one on fuel mileage. And so I was thinking, let's back-to-back this thing. It could happen. And the funny thing is there was never doubt in my mind that we could run up front with these guys since this year started. I think we just had to prove it to ourselves and prove it to other people that we were a strong team. And we did that for sure. We got out front, led quite a few laps, probably more than anybody imagined we would. The 48 and the 42 were stronger than us, and after a while they finally ran us down and passed us. But we were sitting pretty, looking like we were going to finish 3rd or 4th. I think with 3 or 4 laps to go, we were racing Martin for 4th, and it was really open for it to end. Caution comes out. Green, white, checkered. We take off on the outside, had a pretty good restart. I almost had the 31 cleared, pretty much had him cleared, and got a little bit loose. I think it was the air off his car on my left rear. Got me loose, and typically that's just an easy save for me, and I just wiggle up the track, but the track was not clean at all off turn 2. There was a big pile of sand there still from Speedy Dry. And as soon as I hit that, there was no saving it. It was like hitting ice, and we tore up half the field and didn't really get a good finish to the race. But it was unfortunate that kind of had to happen. We still finished 14th. If you would have told us at the beginning of the day we were going to finish 14th, we would have took that as a solid finish and went on to the next racetrack. But to do what we did and run up front, lead laps, and really probably should have finished in the top 5. It was a little bit heartbreaking, but the momentum that we've gained from Dover is huge, not only in just running well and getting a good finish in 14th, but more or less proving to ourselves that we can run with these guys given the right situation and that we can compete, and there's a possibility of us winning a race.
Well, I'll try not to jinx you this week if that situation arises. If you have a question for Ty, please raise your hand. We'll get a wireless microphone to you. We'll start here.
Hi, Ty. Kenny Carr with SSP TV. I think you just said qualifying has been a bit of a struggle. How do you try to turn that tide today, positive attitude, and head out there? It's a beautiful day at Pocono.
We just keep working hard. With Germain Racing, we spend, me and Booty and our couple engineers, we spend every single Wednesday in the simulator at Chevrolet, and that's one thing that they do for us at Chevrolet that is helpful. They allow us at Germain Racing to have that simulator time because we don't get very many other resources. We do have the alliance with RCR, but at Germain Racing we are our own entity pretty much too. So we go every Wednesday and make laps, so I'm as fresh as I can be for being a rookie at some of these places. Luckily, I have raced here before. The thing about qualifying is it's raw speed, and you just got to have that raw speed in qualifying to be really good. And we did all right at some places and have qualified okay. It's just a different level when you come to the Cup Series and qualify. It's harder than anything you ever do. Everybody can go fast for a lap in this series. Everybody can run really, really fast for at least 1 or 2 laps. And you get in the race, and a good race car and a good driver will come around and rise to the top. So we try to focus really hard, just hasn't really worked out. We got a lot of things to learn still. But I think Pocono is a place that we can qualify well at. It's been a good place for me in the past, and I really like this place. So no reason that we shouldn't be able to improve our qualifying average this week.
We'll go next to Zach and then over here to John.
Zach Sterniola with the Pocono record. Ty, you touched on it there. You already got a couple starts here in the Cup Series. What can you take from those prior experiences into this weekend's race, and how much is that going to help you getting ready for another one here?
Yeah, I raced the Cup race here last year with Levine Family Racing, which is one of their cars from their shop, and we worked really hard. That car at the time was not one of the best cars, but we qualified 26th or so, and really opened my eyes to working on a race car and getting myself to focus on getting the car handling right, because you can race better than you qualify even if you don't have the top speed that you have or that some of the other cars have. We didn't qualify well at all, but we got the car handling pretty good in practice and got to the point where we were running 17th to 18th in the race. I'm not sure where we ended up at the very end. I don't know what the final result was, but we were running in front of cars that were way more funded than what our car was. And so it really opened my eyes as a driver coming here last year and running a little bit lesser equipment, something that I hadn't done before. But it was with a team that really worked hard. So it kind of opened my eyes to hard work, being a good, proving that if you work hard, your car can always outperform guys that might have way more resources. And I think that's what we've done all year at Germain Racing.
We'll go next to John, then to Lee.
Hi, Ty. John Harville with ESPN Albuquerque. We're about halfway through the regular season, the third way through the entire 36-race schedule. I just wanted to get your evaluation of the way this season's gone so far from you.
I think it's gone pretty well. I'd give it a B right now for our team. I told everybody at the beginning of the year that we're going to compete for this Rookie of the Year, and we're going to give them all we got. And I think some people thought I was crazy, but, we're still right in it. We had a couple bad finishes. Charlotte, we broke a rear end. First start, or second restart, I guess, of the race. 38 drove into our door, and we had a fender rub and put us 2 laps down. Then we break a rear end. Our car was really fast there. It felt like we were going to have a day quite like Dover there as well, and end up finishing 30-something, lose a lot of points. That put us behind. And then Daytona at the beginning of the year, we finished 38th, got in a crash. If those 2 days aren't in there, we're sitting even better than what we are right now, which is pretty decent, I'd say, for what we expected. But after Dover, I think we've definitely reset our goals, and run inside the top 15 is where we want to be, and run inside the top 10. And you do that enough, you're going to have your shots at winning races, and you never know, we might make the chase.
Have you ever noticed any improvement within yourself running both the Xfinity and the Cup Series?
Yeah, I think, the first couple of races, the first 4 or 5 in a row, it's you don't realize how much a demand it is on your schedule and on your body to run both those races. You definitely gain a lot of respect for the guys who've done it their whole career. I've kind of settled into a schedule and a mindset that's been very helpful as far as going back and forth. It's a lot of work, and it's hard to concentrate on both. But I've gotten really comfortable in that and been able to use it the last couple weeks to my advantage. And it's definitely helped me improve on both sides. You get out of a Cup car and get one of those Xfinity cars, you feel like Superman. And then you run an Xfinity race against some guys that are really hungry and fast, and you got to be able to get things done in a hurry because the races are shorter. you learn a lot for the Cup race the next day. So I'm enjoying going back and forth.
Lee
SpencerMotorsport.com. Do you anticipate moving back to RCR if there's a shift in the roster after this year and a seat opens up?
You know, that's not anything I care to talk about right now. My main focus is on Germain Racing. That's where I'm at, and you know, they've done a lot for me. Bob Germain has given me the opportunity to be here at this level, and GEICO took a chance on me coming in, a new young guy, and it's gone really well. So right now, my main focus is getting ourselves into a point where we can make the chase, win the Rookie of the Year, and just race hard. It's definitely not my focus right now. I feel like now I've gotten to where I want to be in the Cup Series, and wherever my career goes from here, it'll go. But right now I'm focused on racing the 13 car for Germain Racing.
So basically you feel loyal to Bob is what you're saying.
Yeah, I feel very loyal to Bob. I mean, Bob took a big chance on me, so he's you know, he's somebody that means a lot to me, and this opportunity means a lot to me. So you know, that's special to me. And when somebody puts their neck out on the chopping board for you, you always respect them.
We'll go to your left here to Dominic.
Dominic Gaughan with the RacingExperts.com. So after the last few weeks and having top 15 finishes and the run at Dover, what's the team morale been like the last few weeks?
Oh, it's been good, man. It's everybody was a little disappointed at Charlotte because we were fast. I mean, after that run-in on the restart, came out in front of the leaders with, I think, 1 lap fresher tires and ran away from the leaders. So everybody was excited there to see us get back on the lead lap. And the red flag came, the rain came, and just the wave rounds weren't falling our way, and we really thought we were going to have a good shot, and then we break a rear end. So that was disappointing. But we knew in the back of our minds that we had good speed. And then we've had a couple finishes that have been solid leading up to that race that knocked us down a little bit, and we come back to Dover and do what we did. I think everybody's on cloud 9 right now, just as far as confidence. And like I continue to say, we proved to ourselves more than anything that it's definitely possible that we can run up front and win races.
Any additional questions for Ty?
Can the Preds come back? I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a close game in Nashville, but man, the Penguins are beating them down pretty good in Pittsburgh, so it's going to be tough. I'd like to go to a game, but I'm a little busy.
Well, Ty, good luck this weekend, and hopefully we would talk to you post-race on Sunday.
All right, appreciate it.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Just a quick reminder, Sunday's race is at 3 p.m. I heard on a couple of newscasts, I've gotten some calls that the time is wrong, so just a friendly reminder that Sunday's race is a 3 p.m. start. Happy to be joined by Daniel Suarez and Pocono Raceway President and CEO Brandon Igdalski. We have some pretty exciting news to share for our July race weekend. We're going to have 9 Cup drivers that are going to be part of a fan fest on Friday night beginning at 6:30. So we'll let Brandon explain kind of how it came about, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really came about as NASCAR was looking at this enhanced schedule, and I think I was the fool that raised my hand first in the room when they asked who wants to do it. But I think it's going to be a really great opportunity to look at something different with the way the weekend goes. But as part of that great opportunity is the fact that we're going to have this fan fest on Friday night. So out at our block party, we're going to have 9 drivers. Dale Jr. tweeted out a couple weeks ago that he was going to be one of them. Thanks for letting the cat out of the bag. And and Daniel's agreed as well to join us out there. So it's going to be a really fun evening. A lot of fun interactive stuff on Friday night, next race. We're going to slowly reveal the drivers over the next couple weeks, so we're not going to release them all today. We're going to have some fun with this, but it's really going to be a fun opportunity to have some fun with the drivers, to see them outside of their normal elements, and maybe having them really see their personality shine through and have some fun with some of the fun and games and activities we're going to have out there that fans are going to be able to participate in and watch, and then also the drivers having fun with.
Daniel, how about as a driver? What's it like to be part of these fan events?
Well, it's very cool because like you mentioned, I think to have some good interaction with other fans, a little bit on the side of the racetrack, I think that's something good because sometimes you can start to know the personality in a different way. So I think it's going to be fun. When actually Donald told me about this. A few days ago, I was excited about it. I like this place a lot. I love the mountains. The fans are great. I had just the opportunity to interact with a few fans right here, and actually they're waiting for us to come back. So it's a great place. I'm looking forward to come back here later on the year and enjoy this fan fest.
Brendan, can you give any secrets and some hints as to what the drivers might be doing?
I think we're going to have some. I think we're looking at some Simon Says. We have some cooking competitions. If you guys think of the after the lap they do in Vegas, it's going to be kind of a similar concept to that, but I think a little more silly, a little more fun. With some seriousness to it, but really a chance for the drivers to come out, have some fun with the fans to have some fun with the drivers. Whether you're a camping guest here, whether you're a ticket holder, it's going to be open for everybody coming in. If you have a Friday ticket, it'll be a part of your Friday ticket. If you have a Sunday ticket, it'll be part of your Sunday ticket, and if not, it'll be $10 if you have a Saturday ticket to come in, and $20 for everybody else to come in for the evening. So be part of our Friday night block party events, which are always a fun time with the stage out there and the great concerts and bands we have throughout the evening. So, and the zip lines and all that. So it's gonna be very family friendly. It's all about bring the kids out, bring the family out, bring the wives, dogs, whatever you got, bring them all out and have a great time with us.
So just to confirm, that'll be Thursday, July 28th, correct?
Friday.
So there won't be cup cars on track Friday, but we'll have this driver fan fest event take place in that spot, and then qualifying and the race on Sunday. Any questions for these two fine gentlemen? Go ahead, Zach.
For Daniel, obviously, excuse me, coming back here from obviously making the Xfinity start last year. I know you said you enjoyed the track. You ended up at the top 10 there in the rain-shortened race. How's it feel to be back here, and what's your confidence level coming into this race weekend?
Well, I see this racetrack so far as a challenge because it's not one of those places that I have a lot of experience. I've been here just once last year, and it was a short weekend overall. We had, I believe, one practice. I don't think we had qualified and we had a short race. So I feel like it was obviously helpful. We learned some good stuff, but now it's going to be a different view. The weather looks great. We have the Xfinity Series and we have the Cup Series to learn as quick as possible. Today we have a busy day, practice in both series. So hopefully we can learn as quick as possible and move forward.
Excellent. Go ahead. Wait, microphone's behind you.
Zach Tanzway, front stretch. Obviously, Bubba Wallace making his Cup debut this weekend. How big is that for you with the Drive for Diversity program? How big is that for that entire program, and what does that mean to you?
Just a few days ago, I was looking to Twitter, and a fan posted a picture from I don't even know what year was that, but maybe 2012 or 13, when we were part of the NASCAR Next 9 program. It was Ryan Blaney there, Kyle Larson, Darrell, Wallace, myself, and some other drivers, and it's pretty cool to see, most of the kids from that group from just 4 years ago now being in the Cup level. So that really talks very well of what NASCAR is doing. With the NASCAR Next program and as well with the diversity program, and I'm just very proud to be a small part of it. And we're having a lot of fun racing together. We know each other very well. We're friends out of the racetrack, and obviously we will race hard in the racetrack, and we all, I can tell you, we're looking forward to keep doing that for a long time to come.
Absolutely.
Look at them; they're all grown up.
We're all guys now.
SpencerMotorsport.com. You had your best qualifying effort last weekend at Dover, which resulted in you getting stage points and also your best finish, even despite the melee at the end. But how much have you guys looked at qualifying and realized that was maybe a weakness in your program and something that you needed to improve on to get better results at the end of races?
Well, just to put the weekend together is very important, and as you know, track position is very important in racing in NASCAR, and qualify because of that is very important. To have good pit selection is important, and I feel like last week we made some gains in our program. Actually, I feel honestly that every weekend we were we've been getting better and better as we go. We still a new team, a young team, and I really feel like every weekend we are getting stronger and stronger. We are more competitive. We are racing in the top 10. Now, slowly, we are getting used to and it's getting more normal for us to be racing in the top 10. It's not a surprise anymore, which is something very good for me and for my team. So we just have to keep working and hopefully keep moving in the same direction.
Was there anything in your background that had you gutting out finishes? Because when you didn't qualify as well as, say, Eric Jones, the person you're competing for rookie of the year, your finishes were there. And so I'm just wondering, is there something about, how you were brought up in your racing disciplines that had you more looking at the finish and kind of conserving your equipment to the end?
Well, everything is important. I love qualifying in the front. It's not like I don't like to qualify well and I like to race well. I love qualifying in the front. But as a new team, we're going to be qualifying today. So if we don't have a very fast race car out of the truck, it's going to be difficult to qualify well. Sometimes it took us more time to get to that point. And for qualify, we were not quite ready. But right now, I feel like we were starting in a very, very good starting point, and we're moving forward from that direction, from that point. So just overall, very happy with my team, with the progress that they have made. In the last few days, we had a couple very, very productive days of tests in Chicago, tire tests, and I feel like every week we are getting more and more attached. We are getting more confidence, and we're moving in the right direction. So we just need to keep working and never give up, because these races are long, and you never know what is going to happen.
That's great. Let's take our last question from Bob.
Daniel, Bob from Fox 56 in Wilkes-Barre here. Why are you living your dream? You mentioned the diversity program. How and why are you living your dream being a NASCAR driver?
Well, it's just a lot of fun. I moved to the United States 6 years ago, and obviously this was the goal, to get to this point. But I didn't have anything to get to this point. I didn't have either sponsors or connections or English. I didn't have anything, and honestly, I don't even know how things start to work out. But definitely, after a couple of years, things start to move in the right direction, and just very proud to be now a small part of the NASCAR family. I'm just very happy to be here. Obviously, very happy to be an Hispanic driver in the field, and I'm having a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to keep doing this for a long time to come, and hopefully we can perform better and better.
Outstanding. Thank you, gentlemen. Much appreciated.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
We're going to continue on with today's Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series media availability with none other than Darrell Wallace Jr., driver of the number 43 Smithfield Ford for Richard Petty Motorsports. Bubba, this has been quite an eventful week for you. Could you please just walk us through what this week has been like from your perspective?
Yeah, it's been a little busy, but not too bad. I think we kind of were able to manage it. I was able to manage a little bit, not let it get the highs too high, and still be able to focus on this weekend. That's the biggest thing. What an incredible opportunity for me. When you said the driver of the number 43, it took a minute. It had a nice ring to it, though, so I like that. But we're just out here to have fun. I'm treating it just like I'm walking around the Xfinity garage, a little bit more crowded. But there's nothing different from the game plan for me. It's just to go out and do the best I can, not only for myself, but for everybody involved in this, for Richard Petty himself, his whole family, Eric and his family, to help get through this process and get him back on the racetrack, and for Smithfield, for Ford, and everybody at RPM. It's going to be fun.
Outstanding. We're going to go ahead and open the floor for questions. We'll start up here with Joseph and work our way around.
Joseph Walken, frontstretch.com. How much pressure is there on you for the next few weeks while you're filling in for Eric?
Yeah, there's a little bit. I mean, you got a lot of people wanting to see how I'll run and see how I'll do against the Cup guys. I think in years past there was a lot of pressure added just for myself, and today I feel great. I feel good about getting in the car. I don't have to overstep anything. I don't have to do anything special. For us, it's just to get the balance right. We decided to pick the weekend where I get the least amount of practice as possible. We only get one session today, one session Saturday. So there's a lot of big factors going into this to make it a special weekend. But as far as pressure, just a little bit. I'm okay, though.
We'll go next to Holly, then to Dominic, then to Zach.
Hi, congratulations
Thank you.
to you. I was just curious, now that you're actually here and walking around the garage, kind of the reception from people that have known you throughout your racing, and also kind of what your immediate what their help has been to you, I guess is the better way to say it. Have you even asked for any, or kind of what is the scene like?
Yeah, Jimmy had reached out. Jimmy Johnson had reached out as soon as pretty much we announced it, and he said, "See you on Sundays now, bro." And I was like, "All right, that's cool. That's really cool there." And he said if I needed anything to reach out to him, so I'm gonna try to grab him or meet up with him before practice and after practice, and I just asked him what do I need to expect, and so there's nothing to it. At the end of the day, it's just a race car, a little bit more horsepower, just a little bit bigger venue, a little bit bigger crowd. But at the end of the day, I've been waiting for this moment for 15 years, however long I've been racing, a long time. And now it's finally here, so it's just another stroll in the park.
Dominic?
Dominic Gaughan with the RacingExperts.com. So you have a chance at history this weekend. If you're able to win in your debut, you'd become the 7th driver in NASCAR history and the first in 54 years. What would that mean to you if you could find victory lane Sunday?
You've done some digging there for that one. That's a big task. But hey, anything's possible. You put your mind to it, right? And I believe that we can win each and every weekend. So if the opportunity presents itself, then we got to be able to capitalize on it and manage what we have in front of us. But that'd be cool. I mean, I don't know what much more I can say on that. I'd love to win a race. It's been a little bit. But it'd be special. It'd be a huge historical impact, like you say. But let's just get through practice and qualifying and make sure we can keep all 4 tires on right now.
Go next to Zach.
Zach Sterniola with the Pocono record. Obviously, you've had a couple of starts here in the past, 2 truck starts and Xfinity start. What do you feel like, how much do you feel like that prior experience here is going to help you, if at all? And what are your personal expectations coming into this weekend alone?
Yeah, I think for the starts that we've had here, I've always run okay here. I've run decent, and it's just one of those places. It's tricky. It's tricky triangle for a reason, and it's tough to figure out and tough to get a rhythm. And a lot of people say that. So I spent a little bit more time on the simulator this week, coming up, building up to this day, and we'll see how that translates over. But expectations, I mean, we'll really have to see how we unload off the truck. Our first couple laps might be a little bit more off than we should be, just for me getting comfortable, getting used to it, getting a rhythm down. But then as we start getting later into practice and closer to race day, you'll start to see where we kind of stack up. And I would say, you base your speeds off of practice and see where you end up, but we'd be 18th to 15th to 18th on Xfinity practice, and we ended up 6th 5 times in a row. So you just never know how these races go. If you can manage your race and run a smooth, clean race and be there at the end, some of these guys are going to fall out from mechanical or from error, and you gotta be able to capitalize on that. So I'm looking just for a good, solid race and gaining respect from the veterans here and to prove everybody that I belong in the series.
We'll go next to Lee, then to Kenny.
Lee Spencer, motorsport.com. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The rumors have been around, even though you were having a great consistent year, 4th in points on the Xfinity side, the rumors have been around for about a month that Daytona would probably be the end of the road.
Mm-hmm.
How humbling was it knowing that you might be out of a job before the door opened and you got this opportunity? What was going through your mind then?
Yeah, it all kind of meshed together. We knew it'd be a limited schedule before the season started. And for sure, with how we unloaded at starting at Atlanta and all the way through finishing 6th, that we would get us a win, and you can take the rest of the season off. Then you're locked into the playoffs. I always say that. So I don't know why teams don't save money. Just stay at the house. You'll be at what's it, Chicago the first race, Kentucky, one of those. Change up the schedule every day. I don't know. But for me, it was all right around the same time. We're getting close to crunch time. Pocono was our last race, and the unfortunate accident with Eric happened, and we were making phone calls and trying to see what we can do. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's fighting for a seat, no matter who it is. You know, Jimmy could be out in a couple of years, but you're already fighting for it. You know, you're trying to get in there, or it doesn't matter who it is. It's all about the upcoming talent coming up through the sport, and you know, we're always ready for that next ride that opens up. So, for me. Oh, yeah, no doubt. There was a lot of sleepless nights. You can ask my girlfriend. I was pretty stressed out a couple of days leading up to this. And when you're a young guy, I feel like I'm a young guy. I feel old sometimes. But it's pretty stressful now that I understand the business and life itself. It's pretty devastating not knowing what's next. It's like, hell, I didn't go to college, so I don't know what I'm going to do. The biggest thing for me was just trying to keep that in check and keep those emotions in check. And I think if you go back to Charlotte, that was where I did not keep them in check and really let it get a hold of me. And we ended up 28th or 30th, wherever it was, just because I added that extra pressure to myself. And that's one thing I'm not trying to do this weekend is hopefully Eric's back next week. You know, that's how fast we want it to, but we want it 100%. But if it's one race for me, if it's 5 races for me, it's just 5 races, and it's nothing more than that. It's just go out there and do what I can do best. Mm-hmm.
We'll go to Kenny, then to Dustin, then to Reed.
Good morning, Kenny with SSP TV. Can you just talk about why representation is so important in NASCAR? This might be a silly parallel, but my wife was so pumped to go see the Wonder Woman movie last week to see like a strong female lead, and just talk about the importance of it.
I mean, this is huge for the sport. How was that movie, by the way? Was it all right? Okay, cool. I'm gonna save that one for the memory bank. Go check that out. But you know, from the African American side of this, it's huge. And if you know me, I've been in the sport for a little bit, a couple days, and I usually let the results speak for itself. But I think today and this weekend, and really leading up all this week, you know, it's been about the historical side from the African American side, and I mean it's huge. Since 2006, since Bill Lester, you know, me winning that race back in 2013, the first in 50 years, it's big, and it's got to be talked about, and I understand that. I get that side of it, but you know, for me, I don't pay attention to that. I pay attention to it, but I don't label that on myself as we're out there. You know, oh, African American just passed this guy first time in 12 days, you know, it's just way too much. That'll probably be an article coming up soon from somebody in here. Just made his first pass. But for me, I mean, you got to look at it from that point because it's just it's not enough faces in the sport. And so for me now, it's like hopefully a kid will turn on the TV and be like, Mom, Dad, that guy looks like me somewhat. I probably look worse than them. And they'll want to try this sport out. And it's all about seeing a familiar face and following that footstep. So hopefully I represent that the best way I can and be the best role model that I can for this weekend and the remaining weeks that I have.
Come up front to Dustin.
Dustin Albino, frontstretch.com. Darrell, congrats on the ride, first of all. How influential has Jack Roush been on you in this process, and has he given you any advice leading up to this race?
Yeah, we've been so busy. I'm bummed that I haven't been able to go check out my Xfinity guys over there. Have been doing a lot of stuff leading up to this, so haven't got to talk to Jack about it either. But you know, thankful for the opportunity with everybody there at RFR. An unfortunate 2 years and change without a win, but we were definitely there each and every weekend to prove that we were fast. We had cars. We just could not finish it out. But it was a fun 2 years, hard fought. We were definitely on the rebound and making progress to get back to where old Roush was. And it's been cool to see Jack come to the racetrack pumped up and smiling. So that was always special, knowing that we were kind of helping him, you know, get those feel-good, you know, moments back and leading laps these last couple races and winning stages for him, you know, for the company. It's been a whole new attitude this year. with Ryan winning at Daytona right out of the bat. That was cool, and then Ricky winning at Talladega. That was I wouldn't say the icing on the cake, but that definitely helped out for sure. So I felt like it was mine or Trevor's turn this year, this weekend, which both would be great. It'd be badass to do Xfinity and Cup this weekend, so we'll see how that goes. But Jack's been a huge help for my career. If it wasn't for him, then I don't know if this opportunity would be here. There's a lot of people that are involved in this opportunity today.
We'll go to Reed, then to Chris.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire Service. I was struck by something you said on the teleconference the other day about sometimes you lose your cool.
Mm-hmm.
And basically here you talked about emotions boiling over. Do you think that has held you back in any way and limited your opportunities, and is that something you're really conscious of now?
I think it's hurt me a couple times. You know, we have like Charlotte was a bad pit stop, and I just could not let that go. And that cost us in a good finish. We were a good car. I don't know if we were going to be able to get back up to the top 4 where we should have been, but top 10 would have been really good instead of 28th, and I did not think about that. I thought about it after the fact when we hit the wall, but it was already too late. But there's been some races that have been like that, but this year, I mean, I think last year was really tough on us because we would show up and practice 20th and run 15th all day, and knowing that myself and Ryan Reed were way faster than where we're running, and that was frustrating, and we just couldn't do anything about it. And I think that's where a lot of the frustrating moments came from. But this year, I mean, man, finishing 6th a lot of times, leading laps. I mean, it's been a good year. Just besides that win column is still blank. It's been a lot easier to manage those emotions, just showing up and having the speed, knowing, going into Dover this past weekend, I was so pumped up 3 days in advance just because of the speed we've had in previous weeks. Last year, it doesn't matter if I could qualify on the pole by 2/10 at Dover, we were not going to do it. We were just off, and we weren't going to run in top 10. And that's just how frustrating it was going into that weekend. But now it's a different mindset. It's been fun, like I said, to go to the racetrack and be there and run fast.
Come up front to Chris.
Chris, NightCatchFans.com. Congrats on
Thanks.
everything that's going on. It's really cool. I talked about the Xfinity program. I know that from what I've been able to gather, that Ty Majeski's crew will be actually helping out Ty Majeski in a couple weeks. But what about for you after the Cup opportunity? If you get to stay in the Cup car, great. But are you guys focused on running any more Xfinity races this year? And then how do you feel about going to Sonoma in a couple weeks, knowing it's one of the racetracks that you've never been to?
Yeah, that's going to be fun for sure. We're still trying to figure out what's next for the Xfinity side. I know Ty makes his start in Iowa, which is, 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away. But right now, it's just for me to be focused on this weekend, not worry about what's after Pocono, although I know I'm in at Michigan for the Cup car. But for Xfinity side, it's just to go out and we get 2 practices today. To get it dialed in for tomorrow, and this is the weekend. This is the opportunity where we can't be backed up any further in the corner of the wall, and we got to come out swinging. But doing that all in the positive and the right way, and be able to close out the season with a win. So I have a ton of confidence coming in this weekend to be able to do that, and that's what I'm focused on the most. And hopefully things will open up after that. One door closes, another one opens up.
Do we have additional questions for Bubba? Bubba, congratulations
Cool.
again
Thank
on the ride, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll continue with today's media availabilities with the defending race winner here at Pocono and 2017 Daytona 500 champion Kurt Busch. Kurt is driving the number 41 Haas Automation Monster Energy Ford here at Pocono and has 3 career wins in the Cup Series here at Pocono. Kurt, a big win, big weekend here for Monster Energy with the Free Friday going on today, the autograph session going on a little later today. Can you talk about just kind of being involved with that and what you think of the Free Friday concept?
Yeah, I think it's great to see more and more of what Monster can do at track and what the tracks can do with Monster Energy. There's so many unique elements that they bring, and this is great to put cans in our fans' hands and to be able to put a recycle initiative to it. That always connects back when you're going green. So it's easy to go green when you have Monster Green with you. It's fun. We'll have an autograph session later on with all the fans in the midway. And it's a perfect setting, too, on a Friday to kind of kick the weekend off. Friday's a bit more relaxed. And then we jump into the more intense Saturday practice sessions, and then of course big day on Sunday. So looking forward to it, and it's fun to see the track here at Pocono working really close with Monster and trying to find new ways and new things to get our fans connected.
Awesome. With that, we'll open up for questions. We'll start right here. Dustin.
Dustin Albino, frontstretch.com. Kurt, obviously Storehouse Racing went back to Ford this year. How's the chemistry with the other 4 teams so far?
Right away at Daytona, everybody from Ford, Etzel Ford, Henry Ford, Mark Fields when he was our CEO, everybody was there at Daytona. And there was a big meeting about how we need to start with the teams working together at the restrictor plate tracks. And then as we move forward, the 1.5 miles, we've got the short tracks. There's little things that we've been doing at SHR versus what Penske's been doing, or Roush, or RPM. And so we want to try to share the information, but at the same time, you gotta keep the technology in-house. And so Ford has a nice balance of what they've asked us to do and how we're all sharing information moving forward. So really unique with having Doug Yates as our engine builder. He's really smart. He's on top of everything. And so whether it's the oiling system, the water cooling system, different gear ratios and things, we've been working on those. And gear ratios will be big this weekend here at Pocono because we have the ability to change our transmission ratios for the restarts and the pace that's being set. So we'll see how that goes.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Jerry Jordan, KickingTheTires.net and Performance Racing Network. Obviously, after getting married, throwing the party of the year, and then winning the Daytona 500, it's time to focus on racing this weekend. But what's this past 6 months been like? I've seen you on red carpets and polo matches and just interacting, but in other aspects of your life. You seem really happy. How's this been?
It's been amazing. Started with Cubs winning the World Series last November, and just enjoying the ride. Winning the Daytona 500 a month after I got the most beautiful ring and the beautiful woman in my world. It's like drop the mic, walk away. Everything's perfect, and my contract and everything at SHR is fantastic, and I love NASCAR racing, and she's been there supporting me every bit of the way, and it's great for me to jump out of the NASCAR world and jump into her world and support her with her modeling and polo. And we were in New York City all last week. She was on some TV shows and things talking about the Veuve Clicquot Classic and playing polo with Nacho, the big Ralph Lauren model. It's really neat. It's a fun world, and she knows the focus that I have to give to the race car and this team, because I see it with the focus that she gives her team with the horses, with her trainers, the travel. It was fun. Right after that big New York City event, I'm back there with the trainer and the horses, packing up the trailer like it was our old late model team and sending them back to Virginia. So it's been fun.
Go ahead.
Robbie Mays, MRN. Kurt, Richard Petty's 80th birthday is coming up in about 4 weeks. Do you have a favorite Richard Petty memory or story from your career?
Yeah, is it 4 weeks away? I feel like we've been celebrating all year, but he's our king. He deserves a full year of celebration, being the 80th birthday. Congrats to Richard Petty, and a true pioneer of our sport, our king. 200 race wins, 7 championships, and the legacy that the Petty family has is incomparable. And so it's neat that he's still here and autographs every week. I mean, he's the most charismatic, and his personality is so big. Every time you see him at the track, he's got his hat and sunglasses on, and he's just happy-go-lucky. And yet he is the face of our sport when it really comes time to branching it back to the past. And so my favorite story with him, or my favorite moment, was watching him win his 200th at Daytona and having chicken with President Reagan. I mean, that doesn't happen every day. And the time I got to meet him at Richard Petty Motorsports in Level Cross, North Carolina, that was a big moment of walking into King's office and being there where, the history and a big anchor of our sport has been rooted. It was really neat to go to his office and share a moment with him there.
We'll go to Zach and then to Chris.
Zach Sterniola with the Pocono record. Kurt, obviously you've had plenty of success here, but also coming off what looked like a good weekend at Dover last weekend. Looks like you had a good car there before getting caught up. What are your expectations coming into this weekend? It seems like you've been running better these last few weeks. Where do your expectations lie coming into this weekend?
You know, our expectations are high, but we have to keep them in perspective. Yes, we have run well the last few weeks, and it's been a matter of changing the car's dynamic balance as far as our setup to match the aero changes. We've found some things in the wind tunnel that have helped us understand the difference with our Ford versus where we were at this time last year with the GM car. And so balancing those things, that's helped us. And I think we turned a good corner at Texas. We've been cranking out top 10s, but we haven't been cranking out top 5s. And so I was pushing really hard last week, and the car stepped out. I took it beyond its limits, and it's because we're right there. We're solid top 10 when things go our way, but we're not top 5, and that's what I'm pushing for. And this is a great track for us to come back to because we won here last time, but it's one of my favorites, and just balancing out where we are with the team, the setups, and if we can get a top 5 this next week, that'd be great. But of course, we're going for the win.
Go ahead, Chris.
Chris Knight, catchfans.com. Kurt, I was just curious what you thought about Bubba Wallace making his Cup Series debut this weekend, and have you followed his career as he's transitioned from trucks to Xfinity and now Cup?
I think it's great. It's a big moment for our sport. And, you know, some of the interviews I did in New York City this week, just promoting NASCAR in general, and some of the questions that pop up are about diversity and why isn't there more of a look of different drivers or a feel. And, you know, I think it's perfect because our sport welcomes anybody at any time, male, female, no matter what their ethnic background is, where they're from, whether they came from sports cars or rally cars. But Bubba's rise through the top with the Drive for Diversity program, along with Max Siegel, I think it was a perfect stepping stone for him all the way through. And then to hear that the Roush Fenway guys don't have the budget for him for the rest of the Xfinity season, this makes perfect sense. And I would say, looking at it all from the outside, I'm glad that Ford stepped in to try to make this happen for him and RPM.
Any additional questions for Kurt? Oh, we'll go here.
Hey, Kurt, how are you?
Great.
Ross Lippman with ABC 27 in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Similar to celebrating Richard Petty this season, it's been a season-long celebration for Dale Jr. as well. Obviously, he's among the most popular in the sport. Have you noticed anything in particular, though, about the way fans are receiving him this year? It's been a full calendar year since he's been here because he was out for the Pennsylvania 400 in August.
I mean, any time that we're at the track and you see Dale Jr. and the swarm of fans around him, it's an incredible feeling because he's the one that has taken our popularity of NASCAR to this level that we enjoy today. And I think the fans are in the mood of giving back and showing more appreciation to Dale Jr. and recognizing the career that he's had and the highlights that he's won and things that he's done off the track. And most importantly, though, it's a chance for the fans to see him one last time at their track, you know, at Pocono here, and next week will be Michigan. You know, and then we go out to Sonoma. That'll be his final race out there at the Sonoma road course. But just in general, I think fans are really wanting to just say thanks to Dale Jr. for being our most popular ambassador of our sport for the last 2 decades.
Go ahead, we'll wrap up here.
Dave Smith, T102 Radio in Pottsville. Do you have a favorite turn here at Pocono or a least favorite?
Favorite turn? You know, turn 1 is by far the most fun. And with the restarts that we have going down the front straightaway, sometimes 5 wide, you're always trying to find that slot to get back in line. Turn 2, if you're fast through there, the 3 times that I've won here, I felt like my fastest corner was turn 2. And then turn 3, it's changed over the years on how they put the strip of asphalt in the high lane for a few years, the way the curb and the bottom of the groove in turn 3 has changed. I mean, each time around, it seems like there's one that jumps out that's different than the rest. But favorite corner, turn 1.
Kurt, thanks for stopping by, and good luck this weekend.
All right, thank you.
All right, on that, we'll dive right into our next media availability here with three of our NASCAR Xfinity Series drivers. We have Cole Custer, driver of the 00 Haas Automation Ford, Brennan Poole, driver of the number 48 DC Soalr Chevrolet, and Brennan Gaughan, driver of the number 62 South Point Hotel and Casino Chevrolet. Brendan, I'll start with you. Both of these guys next to you have wins here in the ARRIS Series. Have they given you any pointers on anything this weekend?
Me first?
Yep.
Oh, no. I the only thing we're getting pointers on up here right now is facial hair. I just rolled in, so the young kids come in with their teams, and the old guy rolls in from the West Coast, so I haven't had a chance to talk to them yet. But I did not know that both of them had wins here in the ARRIS Series. This track is a lot of fun, so they both know how to do it, and it's I think, is that ARC out there right now? Riley's still third on the board? Riley Herbst? Second? Nice. So, yeah, I've been paying attention to that because of Riley Herbst, so I'm seeing how he's been doing. He's been having a good run lately, so I will be paying attention to the ARCA race, and I might have to grab Brennan. Brennan and I have been racing a lot against each other the last couple of races. We've been having some fun. We've been leaning on each other a little bit and running each other really hard, and I like racing with Brennan, so Brennan, something like that. So it's been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying it.
All right, good
I
deal.
haven't seen Cole much. Cole's been kicking my ass so bad that I haven't been anywhere near him. So I got to work on getting back up to him.
All right, Brandon, we'll move over to you next. You obviously did win an ARCA race here at Pocono. You're 7th right now in the NASCAR Xfinity Series point standings. Can you kind of take us through your strong season so far and kind of what to expect tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could eliminate some of those races where we didn't finish, but it's just racing. You know, I've kind of had some things go my way and not go my way this year. But you know, when we have finished, I think I have like 4 top 10s and an 11th and a 12th. So certainly last week was disappointing, finishing 12th after running in the top 5 and up front most of the day. But for the last 2 races, the first stage, I've ran in the top 5. So I think we've got got a little bit more raw speed than we've had over the past couple of months, and so I'm excited about that coming here to Pocono track. That's one of my favorite tracks that we come to, and hopefully we just can carry some over some of that momentum and the speed that we've had this year and turn it into a good day tomorrow.
Good deal. Cole, you're making your track debut here in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, but you have won here in ARCA. You're going for your 3rd consecutive Sunoco Rookie of the Race. Can you talk about your goals heading into the race tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of speed, especially on like the 1.5 miles, some bigger tracks. So I think, I think we've been able to run top 5 and up there on these bigger tracks. So I think that will be our goal. But during practice, I'll probably just be learning the track the first practice, and I would, I've won here in the ARCA Series before, but I definitely would not say this is my best track. So I think it's just some place that you're gonna have to get used to, and try and just work up to it.
Outstanding. With that, we'll open it up for questions. If you have a question for any of these 3 drivers, please raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone to you. Go here to middle with Zach.
Zach Sternilo from the Pocono Record. For Brennan and Brendan, I know last year's Xfinity race got cut short by a pretty good amount there. So there hasn't been much track time for the Xfinity cars out here. Is that any kind of hindrance, or where do you feel like the expectations are for you guys coming into this weekend?
Well, I mean, I felt like we got some decent practice time and getting to run half the race. I mean, anytime a race is shortened, it's kind of a little bit of a bummer, especially, I know for me, in the day that I was having, I was like 10th to 12th. Actually, we were racing around each other a lot then. I just was watching the race this week. I was like, gosh, I feel like I'm always racing around Brennan. But, so I feel like all the teams and everyone have a pretty good understanding on where we need to be. The weather's going to be a little bit different this week than it was the last time we were here, so definitely going to have to take that into consideration. But I think for the most part, we all have an understanding of what we need to do and where our race cars need to be.
It's a rain out. It sucked. It was the first one ever at Pocono, which sucked. You definitely don't want those things, especially for the track and a group that works so hard as this group here does. But it's just racing. I mean, we got a race. We got to a halfway point where, okay, rain came. It was time to shut it down. But all 3 of us up here, they both have raced here before. They both have won here before. We've been racing all year. It means nothing else except that just was rain shortened last year. Let's go have a good time this year.
Go ahead, Chris.
No.
What do you guys think of stage racing?
Really? That's the big.
You guys have had some time to digest it.
It's so far for me, it's been great.
It can play a lot of strategy, especially
No,
this weekend at Pocono.
it's played strategy for the 62 team all year because we have had the year from hell with getting hit, getting spun, getting roughed, beat around, and we've had to play strategy all year long. The race at Charlotte when Brennan and I raced around each other near the end, that was all because of how things led into the final stage. So I think it's been really cool. It gives you a chance to make stuff up. It gives you a chance to give away a few points to try to gain track position later. If you're willing to, where was it, Talladega or something, we stayed out with the rest of the Xfinity regulars that were racing for the stage win instead of coming in for tires when you should have, which the Cup guys did. So it's really changed the way you race our series, and it's been a lot of fun, especially when we've had so many struggles getting up there. Cole probably hasn't been able to do as much. Cole's been running up front.
Oh, we had to do it last week.
Well, last week, one race. So but that's what's been fun is it's changed the theory behind how everybody's racing depending on where you're at, and I think it's really been a game changer in the sport. And I don't say that about NASCAR a lot. I think everybody knows that I'll say how it is. I think it's really been cool, and I like that it's there.
I think this weekend, when you look at it, the way the stages are set up and the way our fuel windows are, there's like 5 different things that you can do. It's like 25, 50, 100, right?
So it's 25, 25, and 50 laps?
Yeah. So
what's the fuel run here? 20, it's like barely 25 laps. We can't make 25 laps.
no, we can make 25. Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. It's not much farther after that. It's like 28 laps.
We can make the stage.
You can make the stage, yeah.
But you can really do a lot with when you're pitting, when you're
because here you can pit and not go a lap down.
Exactly.
So it's gonna really be do you set yourself up? Are you setting yourself up for stage points or where to be at the end of the race? That's gonna play a factor. And I think it all kind of depends on where you're running at the time. If you're running like 10th to 12, you're probably gonna pit. But if you're up front all day, you're not gonna take that chance. You're just gonna pit when the leaders pit. But like a good example, like Cole was just talking about last week, I went for stage points the first 2 stages, and then by the end of the race, the last run, I had to restart 19th. Well, he restarts up on the front row or wherever, and he ends up finishing 4th, and I ended up finishing 12th. But because I ran for stage points, even though my end of the day result wasn't the same, I didn't lose any points. I kind of ended up being the same with the 16 who's right in front of me in points, so I'm trying to get around. So, I think there's just so many different ways to do it. Like looking back on last weekend, I probably would have pit, because I finished like 7th or 8th in the second stage, so I only got 2 points or whatever. So I probably would have done it differently looking back on it. But that's just kind of some of the chances that you're taking to go after stage points or put yourself in a position later at the end of the race to win a race or do something like that. So it worked out for them, didn't work out for us last week. But
Yeah, and this week too, you also have tires. Tires aren't a huge deal, it seems like here, so you can take 2 or none, or you also have that playing into it. So
yeah, track position. It's kind of important everywhere for us, really, but here especially, it's just really difficult to pass. And I think even last year, even though we only saw 54 laps or whatever the race, you saw guys taking 2 and guys taking no tires just to get up front because the clean air is just so important.
Lee, go ahead.
Lee, SpencerMotorsport.com. I've got questions for all 3, so I'll try to make it quick. What's CLS stand for?
City Light Shine, the whiskey company that me and Mike Dolan own.
Okay, I was just curious because it's my monogram. Tyler, Brennan, can you tell me about Tyler Reddick? What it's been like racing with him.
Yeah, he's super fast. So he's been able to bring a lot of stuff to the table on the weekends that he's been in the car, so we could kind of bounce some things off of each other. He works really hard. He's at all of our team meetings. He's in the gym with me, and it's other times on himself. I've walked in and been like, man, he's here working. So he's just a really hard worker and has a lot of speed and is determined. And so I like having a teammate like that. It's been a lot of fun.
And Cole, your dad told me that Kevin Harvick has been a huge mentor to you. Can you just talk about what advice he's giving you and how the 2 of you have worked together?
Yeah, I usually just call him every single week and try and get advice on the track coming up. And he's obviously one of the best, and he runs the Xfinity cars a lot, so he's definitely a great one to talk to. So he's just helped me with different things to think about at the track and different things to try and things that he does. So mostly stuff like just with driving, mostly. A little bit. I'll ask him questions about that sometimes, and a lot of times on restarts it's up to you. You're the one holding the wheel, and every situation is different, so it's kind of up to you at some point on restarts.
Go ahead, Robbie.
Robbie Mays, MRN. I'm sure you guys have heard Richard Petty's 80th birthday is coming up next month, Daytona week. You guys have a favorite Richard Petty story from over the years?
You boys been old enough to have any Richard Petty stories?
I don't.
Sorry.
I mean, I don't. I'm 26. I don't think that I'm old enough to have been a part of it or seen any of it really. But I think looking back on some of the history and just thinking about all the things that he's done for the sport, when he was racing and winning all those races and stuff, they were racing at Hickory and it was dirt. I raced Hickory, not that long ago, so it's just kind of crazy to look back on that. And I saw some of the stuff they were doing. I can't remember where I was watching on TV where they were showing some of his cars and all the history and things that he had done, and it's really just amazing to think about that. What an incredible career, and to be 80 years old or about to turn 80 and be at the racetrack every weekend. At Dover, he was right there in the mix, looking at the car, asking questions, talking to Regan. So, man, it just that's incredible to me.
He, it's sorry, boys, I had to tee that one up. I've been in sport a long time, and I used to work for Richard at the Experience when he was part of the owners group of the Experience, and honored to say that I've been around him a long time, and I appreciate everything he did for me, especially early in my career. Let me do so much with the school and around him. He's an amazing dude. I mean, I remember he looked at me one day, and he saw my autograph, and he smiled. Because so many guys' autographs are just a bunch of scribbles that you can't understand to be as fast as humanly possible, so you can knock out people in the autograph line and can't even understand what their autograph looks like. I can pick out guys to this day and look and go, what the hell is that? And Richard looked at my autograph and laughed because I have an autograph. If anybody's ever seen Richard Petty's autograph or seen how he still signs it to this day, I've actually been told by a driver that the least amount of times you pick up your pen, the faster it is, the more people you can get through. That's the mentality some people have today. Richard Petty does not have that mentality, and I love that about him still today. I mean, he will do those things for fans when he can, and he's awesome, and he likes that my autograph is not one that is just a flat line that you can fly through quickly. So he's an amazing man. He's been great for our sport, and he's the reason why all three of us are able to sit here today, because guys like him, and his father Lee and Ralph Earnhardt and those guys took the time back in the early days to just be one of the fans with it. And Richard's a great man, a great mentor to this deal, and it is true. He's 80 years old, and he's in the garage on TV last week, with a backup driver in his race car, and there he is standing there looking under the hood. Looks nothing like what he looked at when he was driving, but he's sitting there looking at it, going, probably saying, man, what the hell they got in there now? But I love that he's still a big part of our sport, and happy birthday.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, my probably biggest moment was just probably meeting him for the first time when I was a really young kid, and just being really nervous. And then I met him, and he was like
last
probably
year, really young kid?
yeah, exactly. He was just the most down to earth person you'll ever meet. He's just the nicest guy, and then like you said, it's just amazing what he does. I mean, he's been coming to the track for probably 60 years. Just signing autographs and being awesome to the fans, and it's just amazing, like how long he can, and he loves doing it, So it's just he's an awesome person and a great spokesman for our sport.
Any additional questions for these? Go ahead, Chris. Wrap it up, Chris.
Yeah.
I just wonder how tough this 20 race stretch is for you guys as drivers, for the team as a whole, because you guys race all the way till Charlotte in October. Just wondering how you guys face that.
Me personally, I love it. I love to race. I mean, I'm 40. I'll be 42, turning 42 in the middle of this stretch, and these two right here, are still young, and I guarantee they're going to say the same thing. They're young. I mean, he's still got teammates in the gym. I mean, if you look at me, you definitely know I'm not in the gym. But I think this is what we do. We're here to race cars. We're here to be race car drivers, and the fact that we have this long stretch, it can get tough on teams, especially if things start going bad. But that's where leadership helps. I have Shane Wilson. I have guys that have been with me 18 years. So we know how to weather these storms, and this is normally where, in my career, all my best average finishes go up during these long runs because we're able to sustain, and sometimes the young kids hopefully lose focus.
I mean, for me, I was ready to go Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like, that was I just.
I'm not ready to go Tuesday anymore. Just for the record, not ready on Tuesdays anymore.
I just, it's just fun, and we all love doing it. We love racing, and waiting a week to go again is plenty long enough. But I know all of our guys. It's hard on the guys. Everyone's got to work really hard, turn things around in the shop. And it takes a lot of effort to do all those things and do them right, do it properly, and unload and have fast race cars every week. So that part of it, I think, is tough on all of them. For me, I get to go and have fun when I get in that car on Fridays. So, but it's just part of the sport. It's a stretch, and like Brennan said, you got to stay focused and work hard, and hopefully things go your direction. But I think as you race every week, you kind of build some momentum if it's going well, and it can be really positive for you and your guys. You just got to keep it going, keep working hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I don't think I've ever really. Maybe I don't think I've really ever done a 20-week stretch before, so it's going to be a little bit different. But I think it's going to be fun, and hopefully build some consistency up, and you get on a roll and get some momentum. But like Brennan said, if things go bad, they can go really bad, and just week to week things can go wrong. But it's either usually it can go really good or it can go really bad. I bet. But I think we've had some solid runs going into it, so hopefully we can keep it up.
2 dates? Yeah. No, look, my family worked very hard for the last 10 years to get that. So, I mean, it's great for our town. It's great for the race fan. What they are able to get in Las Vegas versus other markets is a big deal. The prices that you pay, the ancillary things that go along with it. Vegas is a great place for the fan. And Vegas, you're never going to make all the people happy all the time, folks. We all know this. There are a lot of people that dislike me, dislike, Vegas, dislike SMI, dislike all these things, but it's business decisions, and the business decision says that's a good deal for the fan. It's a good deal for most of the people involved, and I'm excited that my hometown has 2 races next year. I mean, it's going to be great to have 2 races at Vegas, and all the teams will be happy that they're staying at the South Point 2 times for the teams that used to stay with me and left.
Yeah.
So we're he had nothing to do with the decision, but it was fun to point to him, and so it'll be good for the sport as a whole.
Gentlemen, thanks for stopping by, and good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
Since he was what?